That was Wayne LaPierre, the Executive Vice President of the NRA. The federal assault weapons ban expires today, and that's what he was referring to Edie a short time ago. Joining us right now from D.C. with the other side is Peter Ham.
Peter's the Communications Director for the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. And we were talking with Mr. LaPierre earlier, and what he said is what I've heard from a number of people, Democrats and Republicans, and that is that you were able to buy the exact same guns with the same capabilities yesterday as you will be able to tomorrow, that this law really had been watered down so much that it didn't take assault weapons off the streets.
Well, Edie and Brian, first of all, thanks for having me on. And let me just say that it's been very interesting to see the NRA change their story and for the gun industry to change their story. Because for most of the last 10 years, they've been saying, oh no, the guns that are being sold that some people argue are copycats and should be illegal under the law, they're not copycats, they're not similar at all. And then finally, about 3 months ago, when the NRA was zeroing in on having this law expire, they suddenly said, oh, these guns are the same as the guns that are being sold out on the market.
Very good point.
I'm afraid it's very convenient.
So what politically has to happen? You want Speaker Hastert to bring this vote to the floor?
Sure. You know, I mean, we're realists, and we understand that it's probably not going to happen today. The only way this would happen today would be for President Bush to step up to the plate and call the Speaker and call Tom DeLay and say, we want to get this done. I promised during my campaign to get this done, and I really think we ought to get this done. It's just we've been very discouraged, we've been very troubled, and there haven't been any signs that the President was going to step up and keep that promise. So,
Peter, you know what bugs me is when politicians get a free skate. And I want to get your perspective on this.
Yeah.
It sounds like they passed this assault weapons bill, but it had been so watered down that, in effect, whether the NRA argued it before or not, the same weapons with the same type of capabilities were on the street with this thing or without it. It sounds like they didn't go far enough. If you really wanted to achieve that, you need something a lot stronger. Is that accurate?
Well, you know, if you look back at the early days when they were going to pass this law, it's true that they had to settle on a compromise, and it's true that obviously this law could be strengthened, but it does a lot of good as it is. It's reduced the number of banned assault weapons used in crime by 66% over the last 10 years. So it's done some good. And, you know, to turn back the clock, I mean, it's so difficult to make political progress on this issue in this country, in a country where we lose 27,000 people a year to gun violence, that it's very sad, as far as we're concerned, that we would step backward. We can have a debate with the NRA about what is the most effective law, and if the NRA is saying that the law is flawed and we should have a better and stronger assault weapons ban, we'd be happy to sit down at the table with them and work through the details of that. I'm afraid that's not really what they're saying.
Do you think that the NRA has held back their endorsement of the president until this passes?
There are all signs that that is the case. You know, I mean, they made a point. I mean, they proactively went out of their way to tell the news media that they were going to delay their endorsement until some future date. And various people associated with them said, oh, you know, September 14th or thereafter might be a good time frame for when that endorsement could come. So it certainly looks that way. You know, it's all about politics. I mean, anybody in Washington can tell you that the reason this ban is going to expire is because of politics, and not really because of substance.
All right. Well, I understand there's a McCarthy-Castle bill in the works now in the House of Representatives. We'll have to take a look at that. I apologize, we don't have time to do that right now. But we appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
Peter Ham, the Communications Director for the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence.
Yeah, I'm not sure.